To you all. Once again, this is 7 Plus Sports Talk presented by Bill Bird Kia. I am Sports Director Scott Rossman, along with anchor reporter Hayden Smith. Hayden, how are you?
Doing wonderful today, Scott. We're talking about an event that has definitely grown drastically here in the past couple of years.
We're talking about the 2026 Bay Point Billfish Open, a big-time sport fishing event that ran from the early 80s to the 2011 at the Bay Point Marina is what it was called back then. And then for a variety of reasons, the event stopped. And then over 5 years ago, and full disclosure, I am a partner, one of 4 partners in the event now, along with Jay Quave, John Warren, who owns Bay Point, and businessman George Roberts. The 4 of us got together and decided to bring the event back, and then we made a very wise choice in hiring a tournament director, and we're going to visit with that tournament director. He will be the subject of most of our conversation tonight, and bring the event back. And we restarted in 2023. And Hayden, and back in the day when I first arrived in 1987, so 1988 was actually the first Bay Point Billfish Invitational I covered. I quickly realized that it was so much more than a fishing tournament. It was the social event of the summer in Bay County. Everybody came out. All the business folks came out. The young men came out because the young women were there. The young women were there because the young men came out. The big boats. There was music and food and drink and just a festival atmosphere. It was just a great party, an in-the-water boat show and all that. So over the years, it became one of the crown jewels of the golf fishing tournament series. And again, it ended in 2011, and myself and 3 partners decided to group together and try to bring it back. And we restarted in 2023. And in fact, let's look at a little video of that. And to say the least, the event has grown quite a bit. In 2023, we started with 58 boats, 304 anglers, and a prize purse of just over $1 million, $1,027,000. The biggest blue hauled in by a local boat, Golo, G-O-L-O. Angler Keith Caraway brought in a 685-pound blue marlin, and that team walked away with $279,000. And you can see the crowd. Our big question was, do you think the crowd's going to show back up once we restart this thing? And man, they did in droves in 2023. And then in 2024, we bumped up to 80 boats, 384 anglers, with a $1.539 million prize purse. Windsong caught the biggest blue that year at 567 pounds. And Reese Johnson, the angler, and they hauled in $289,000. Then in 2025, last year, up to 89 boats, 428 anglers, $1.634 million. Again, a local boat, Triple Tail, with angler Hunter Shaw bringing in the biggest blue, 593 pounds. And then they walked away with $320,000. So the event has grown dramatically since the startup in 2023. And again, I mentioned myself and the other 3 partners. Our first big decision once we got with the St. Joe folks who own Point South Marina, Bay Point, and the folks at Visit Panama City Beach, and real fun. The TDC, they came on board as a big financial backer. But then the first real big decision we made beyond those other 2 was to bring in a tournament director by the name of Bert Merritt. Bert, I knew because I MC the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic in Biloxi, and that's always the first week of June. And I knew Bert, he's one of the tournament coordinators there. So I've known him over the previous 2 decades plus. And we invited Bert to visit with us and to consider coming on as our tournament director. He accepted that, and boy, he hit the ground running and really helped get the ball rolling, again, along with George Roberts, John Warren, Jay Quave, Olivia Quave, who works with her father, Jay, in the apparel business. So that team really put things together starting in 2022 into the 2023, the first year back. And then Bert, like I said, really got the ball rolling on the side of the bringing in the teams and the anglers and the captains and getting them all excited about it. So our conversation tonight revolves around some thoughts from Bert about starting with when we made that invitation to him, Hayden. Was he interested in it? And what were his thoughts? And now looking back on it, what were his thoughts, coming into helping us restart the Bay Point Billfish Open?
Yeah, when I was asked to come back and help with Bay Point to get it started, of course, I was excited about that because I had been to the original Bay Point. I was down there. Our mentor, Bill McClellan, actually had taken us down there in the early days as he met with Bill Spann and some other guys. And I knew a lot of the inside part of Bay Point, but I was never a part of it because we started our own thing and then we went to Biloxi and all that stuff. So when I was asked to come back there, I was excited about it. I thought the venue has always been a great venue and it could be a great tournament again. And so I was very excited to be a part of Bay Point.
And again, Bert, he wears so many hats, but the main thing is being that conduit to the teams. He knows hundreds of boat captains along the Gulf of America. He's Pensacola based, and he's been working in fishing tournaments since he was a teenager. And so he had a great wealth of experience to bring to bear, and everything is kind of rolled from there.
Yeah, and Scott, like you've said numerous amount of times, he's done a phenomenal job at kind of heading this tournament. And I know just with my experience last year for the first time at the Bay Point Billfish Open, he was very helpful even to me as a guy, just kind of a media personality, walking around the docks and just trying to figure out what in the world I was doing at that current point in time. And he was such a huge help to me. So yeah, definitely thanks to him. And again, like you said, Scott, things have definitely taken off for the Billfish Open in ever since June of 2023. And Bert says he's not surprised that they've gone from 58 boats in 2023 to now 90 signed up for this year's event. Here's what he says a little bit about that.
For sure. Yeah. As soon as we started mentioning it, as soon as I mentioned I was going to be a part of it and it was going to make a comeback, it's been the talk of the dock now for 4 years. I mean, everybody talks about Bay Point. They love the tournament. They love the venue. They love the history of the tournament, which goes way back now. I mean, we're going into our 4th year, but we have all the way back to the original. And it's just something that everybody wanted to see come back. And it's just like striking a match in a gasoline. It just blew up, and it's still that way today. I mean, everybody talks on the dock about, hey, you're going to be at Bay Point. We're going to Bay Point. So Bay Point is, we have what we have. We're up to 96 boats now. We just had one register today, Miss Virginia, who won at Biloxi, now coming to Bay Point. So that's how it works. It's fun.
And it's worth noting the old Bay Point Billfish Invitational was truly an invitational. Bill Spann and Scott Bird, who ran the event back then, they would send out invitations in, I think in January, but it might have been even in December. And then obviously the boats that had fished the previous year, they got priority status. And once 70 boats signed up, that was it. With the exception, they would auction off 2 more entries with the money from those entries going to the Billfish Charity Foundation that Bill Spann had set up. So it was capped at 72 boats. So once we passed the 72 boat mark, we kind of set a record, and it looks like we're gonna set another record this year. Getting back to Bert, obviously being a part of it wasn't a startup event, if you will. It was kind of a restart, but there was a considerable, more than a decade plus gap between the old Bay Point Billfish Invitational and the Bay Point Billfish Open. So there were expected to be some hurdles in getting things going. Again, I spoke with Bert about that, and he says, given the venue and the history of the event, it really perhaps wasn't as hard as just, trying to start up a brand new event.
Well, it's just getting the whole thing ginned up in Bay Point. We had the new marina, which, that helped tremendously going right in. We didn't have a lot of problems. The power was good. The marina folks are great. St. Joe worked great with us. There were not a lot of hurdles. There's just a lot of organization, which we have a great organization. We meet regular. And so, yeah, it's been a pleasure to be a part of this organization. And yeah, hurdles as far as organization. You have the parking, you have the entertainment, you have the vendor setups, you have the start and the end of the tournament. You have the awards. You have all the parts of it, and it is just working together like we did for a whole year, getting ready. And it's been a very good success so far.
Indeed, it has. And again, the increase in the number of boats and anglers and the increase in the prize purse is indicative of that. Again, last year, 89 boats and a purse of $1.634 million. A local boat, Triple Tail in Hunter Shaw, with a 593-pound blue marlin. They got 320 grand for that. Another local boat, Florida Lee, and angler Matt Koski, with a 521-pounder. They got 323,000. They were involved a little bit more in the optional categories. And by the way, Matt and Florida Lee just won the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic. So they had a 631-pounder with $225,000 prize purse there. So they got a little extra money to spend coming into this event. And here's what Bert says about the entries so far. Bearing in mind, we're recording this a week and a half ahead of the tournament start.
Yes, sir. It's we're at 96 pre-registered now. The weather holds out. You know, we have a good a few more boats come in, and we will break $2 million. It'll be the first time in the history of Bay Point to be over 2 million. And only one other tournament in the Gulf of Mexico has paid a $2 million purse. So if things hold like they're holding, or we get a couple more boats, we're going to break that $2 million mark. And that's been a goal of mine since we started. The partnership group, the owner group, has brought the energy, and that's, you know, these tournaments are about that. They're about excitement. They're about energy, and everybody feeds off of that. So it's it's getting ready to go fishing all the way up to the weigh-in and weigh in their big fish, and the excitement that comes in front of a 5,000 person crowd, and then the entertainment that we provide on the stages during the week. This event had a long history of entertainment and camaraderie and excitement before the event happened, and we brought that. We brought it bigger than it ever was, and so people get that word on the dock, and then you got to be at Bay Point. I mean, I sit on a boat talking, and the guy's like, "If you're not going to Bay Point, I mean, why are you even in this sport?" I mean, that's the way the talk is. So they get excited to be there. I mean, it's obvious we watch them walking around. So. That's what's bringing them to Bay Point. I mean, they're going fishing out of St. Andrews Pass. They have a little wider berth where they can go and actually fish and get away from each other out there in the Gulf. But it's more about what happens at the dock in Bay Point.
And again, he keeps mentioning the partnership group. That's Jay Quave, who is owns the Panama Jack distributorship for this entire region, and I think that's a very large region. John Warren, who is the owner at the Bay Point Golf Resort, and George Roberts, who owns Roberts and Roberts. That's a construction and road paving business. Some brilliant businessmen who've been very successful. And man, when you get sit at a table with those three, and again, Olivia Quave, who works with her dad Jay at Panama Jack. She handles all our merchandising and our marketing, and Olivia is brilliant. So it's a pretty impressive group. And then you add Bert into it. We all seem to always be rowing in the same direction, and I think that's been a big key to the success of this event. And Neves Media Production, they handle the concert staging and the lighting and a lot of different things that Todd Neves and his company does. So it's truly a good group, local group effort, and it's fun to be a part of that. But we'll go ahead, Hayden.
Yeah, I just definitely want to say on behalf of everybody, especially here in Bay County and everybody here in Panama City Beach, and everybody that ever comes to the Bay Point Billfish Open, we definitely want to thank all you guys for being able to bring the event back, and especially to the status that it is now at is just absolutely incredible, and has been a phenomenal event that I've been able to cover only once, and excited to cover it again.
It is. It's definitely a fun event to be a part of. And getting back to the staffing, well, Bert doesn't come by himself, especially in tournament week. He has a lot of folks that he's worked with, again, Pensacola-based, that he's worked with since he was a teenager doing smaller fishing tournaments over in Pensacola. And Jack Teschel, who is our weighmaster, is one of those people. Jack and Bert have worked together for probably 30 plus years in running different events. and as well as Chris McClellan, who is a tournament coordinator over at the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic. He comes down from Iowa. He and his family are involved in that. And I kind of talked to Bert about what a great effort it is with the entire team, especially during tournament week.
You know, Jack and I have been working together going back almost 40 years, Scott. We've been doing this a long, long time. Worked at the Oyster Bar, the Oyster Bar Blue Marlin Classic. We helped start that before Bay Point was ever started the first time. We've been doing this a long time together. And then, of course, Chris McClellan, who is Ronnie McClellan's son, Bill's brother, has worked through dock crew there. We've been together for a long, long time. And we like to do the small things. Like we get on the boats, or my guys get on the boats and extract the fish out of the hull, out of the ice bag, wherever they are. You know, we like to do that part, handle the fish for them, make sure that we safely connect. We put ropes on every fish, make sure we safely hand it off the boat to get it up to the weigh scale. And we just provide that extra service for every boat that comes to the weigh scale. And we've just been doing it a long time. Me and Chris talked after the tournament the other day. We don't even look at each other. We don't even talk to each other. We don't even talk to Jack. Jack, the weighing the fish, he's the weighmaster. Me and him don't look at each other. We just know what we're doing. We're all doing it together and have been doing it for many, many years. This was 30 years in Biloxi. Okay, 30 years. We started that tournament 30 years ago. Me and Jack and Bill and Ronnie and the Carters, Bobby and Robbie Carter. So yeah, it's a good crew. We all gel together. They love doing it. They come down for a week and or come over from a week wherever they're from, and we just hang out and it's a great crew to work with, and I hope we keep that going.
And there you can see Bert in the middle of that shot, working with that blue marlin, I guess, before we weighed it last year.
Is that a young Scott Rossman I see?
There it is. I'm trying to get on my, take a knee so that I'm not blocking the view. My fat body, trying to give people as good a view. We do put it up on the stage, and that's kind of cool that it does. We do elevate the scale, and that's over at the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic. They have a large stage, which is right a scale in the middle of a staging area, but it's on flat ground. But they do have stands set up so people get a good view of that. And at the Emerald Coast Blue Marlin Classic, which is in between the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic and the Bay Point Billfish Open. That's a flat stage, so it is perhaps a little tougher for folks to see, but you can still get up close and see. But I like the fact that we set up the stage and kind of elevate it, and no matter where you are, you get a good view of the fish that are being weighed in. Again, we worked the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic a couple of weeks ago. Saw a couple of blues weighed there. Bert, again, part of that tournament, but also actively working or as an observer in many events along the Gulf of America, which started several weeks ago. And we talked to him about the bite so far in the Gulf leading into the Open.
Well, it started out slow. I mean, through Louisiana Gulf Coast Billfish Classic, it was kind of a slow bite, slow to get going. The next couple, Orange Beach Billfish Classic was a great event. They weighed a few marlin, but still it was just not a lot of size to them and not a lot of catches, over the top. And then we went back down to Cajun, a little bit still slow. And Biloxi overall, I'm looking at the numbers, was not overly big bite. I mean, they caught a couple of big fish and they released a lot, but not the numbers that we usually have. So yeah, the bite's a little bit slow, but it's obvious that the wind and the seas that broke up last week and changed things a little bit out there, I think, and the fish were biting a little bit better. Hopefully that's to come this week too.
And again, there's some video release video from Bougie Marlin, which fished the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic, and that's the thing. Like last year at the Bay Point Billfish Open, 65 blue marlin were caught and 63 of them released. So it is for the most part a no-kill tournament because the 95 to 99% of the blues are released. So that's a good thing. 94 billfish caught, 92 released in all last year with 17 white marlin and 12 sailfish. We also weighed in 12 tuna, 17 wahoo, 9 dolphin last year, 132 total fish caught, but again, 92 of the billfish of 94 released. So that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, exactly, Scott. And again, the stage is set, and we are ready to go for the Bay Point Billfish Open at the time that we're recording this podcast. It'll be a week before the festivities kick off at Bay Point Marina.
This coming Wednesday.
Exactly, yes. And so a lot to look forward to the fourth Bay Point Billfish Open, and you can definitely count on Bert and his group to be ready to go.
I'm excited. I think we're going to break numbers everywhere as far as the number of boats, the money, the pot, and the entertainment and the stuff that we all look forward to having a week there at Bay Point Marina and Point South Marina at Bay Point has been there's such a pleasure to work with. How their crew treats the boats. Okay, how you come to that marina and the service that you get from that crew. I mean, that helps us all look good, right? So it's just fun going down there. I love the ownership group, of which has been good to me, and I'm proud to say I'm part of that group, and that's what I look forward to.
And you can see the crowd definitely turns out for this event. Look at a great drone shot as they bring one of those blue marlin to the stage, but that gives you a good view of the stage and the staging area. You can see the vendor tents on the top part of your screen that run all the way down Hatteras Lane there at Point South Marina. And Bert made mention of Justin Bannerman. He didn't call out Justin by name, but the crew at Point South Marina, Bay Point, Justin Bannerman is the marina director. He does an incredible job of overseeing this event, making sure that these teams and these boats can get in, fuel up, get all the ice and all the other needs that they need to go out for 3 days of big time elite sport fishing, moving the boats around. There's a lot of boats that are there that need to be moved out. That's part of their contract there at the marina, so that these these 75, 80, 85, 90 foot elite sport fishing yachts can get in there, get them powered up and fueled up and iced up and everything else, and get them set to go. The Bay Point Billfish Open, June 24th through the 28th. The kickoff party is Wednesday of Billfish Week. The boat parade Thursday morning. Again, live music Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with the weigh-ins on Friday between 4 and 9 and Saturday and 4 to 8 o'clock, although any boat that's inside a certain channel marker, past 8 o'clock, or as long as they're inside that channel marker by 8 o'clock, they can weigh in. The awards breakfast comes Sunday at 10 o'clock. And like Bert said, we could approach 100 boats, and if we get to 100 boats, I think there's a very good chance the prize purse will reach $2 million.
Yeah, without a doubt, Scott. And again, for those weigh-in days on both Friday and Saturday, you get there early if you want a good spot to be able to see all these fish come in and weigh in, especially whenever the blue marlin come to get weighed in, because it will get busy in a hurry, Scott. And you definitely don't want to get caught to be way back in the back, though. You're going to get a great view regardless, and it's going to be a great show regardless of wherever you are.
It's worth noting there is no charge to get into the event. There is a charge for parking, be it a golf cart parking, and get on BayPointBillfishOpen.com. There is charge for parking your car. That's along the Old Meadows Golf Course. For anyone familiar with the Old Meadows Golf Course, there's areas where they recently staged that rodeo. They brought in a lot of clay and topped all that out, and so it's good parking space. Even if it rains, it won't be a mushy mess. But the parking proceeds go to the Bay County Sheriff's, I think it's the Bay County Sheriff's youth camp. At any rate, that goes to the sheriff's office charity, and a lot of the proceeds from the drink sales it goes to the Gulf Coast Children's Advocacy Center. So a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars raised for local charities. So that's a very good thing. And we get help by the Arnold Athletic Booster Club, and we end up helping them raise some money as well. But they do a great job of helping us in the merchandise tent and, with the garbage cans and things like that. So again, it's a great local effort.
Yeah, without a doubt, Scott. I'm definitely very excited for my second ever Bay Point Billfish Open, so can't wait for everybody to get out there and to get the show on the road.
And that'll do it for this edition of 7 Plus Sports Talk, presented by Bill Bird Kia on behalf of Hayden. I'm Scott, and thanks again to Bert Merritt, the tournament director for the BPBO. We really appreciate him taking the time to talk with us about it. That'll do it for us. We'll see you later.